5 World Hot News You Should Know from May 12 to 15 of 2021. Welcome to Viet US 1040 channel, the world's hot news. Today we would like to share 5 world hot news that you should know from May 12 to May 15 of 2021 as follows. Newsletter 1. The world was shocked with the news that more than 250,000 people died of COVID-19 in India, and the Indians used cow dung to treat COVID-19. Newsletter 2. The United States and Japan together with France have, for the first time, a joint exercise to express a joint message aimed at China. Newsletter 3. Myanmar situation 100 days after the Myanmar army took power. Newsletter 4. The Middle East fire pan is boiling hot. Newsletter 5. The Tesla company has just made a turn away from the digital currency Bitcoin. The following are the details of the newsletter. Newsletter 1. The world was shocked with the news that more than 250,000 people died of COVID-19 in India, and the Indians used cow dung to treat COVID-19. As of 12 May 2021, the number of COVID-19 deaths in India exceeded 250,000 on this tragic day. The media reported that on the same day India continued to break the record for the number of deaths caused by COVID-19 within 24 hours, and it is not clear when India will reach its peak. A painful fact is that so many people die, leaving cremation centers constantly overburdened. Many parking lots are used to cremate dead bodies, and a series of other bodies were washed ashore on the banks of the Ganges River. They were sent to the river by relatives because many towns ran out of wood for cremation. According to general statistics, every day in India more than 4,000 people die from COVID-19. International experts have warned that the real number could be 5 to 10 times higher. Why? This is because experts believe that the number of deaths from COVID-19 in India is higher than the official data because many people have died without a doctor certifying the death certificate. Furthermore, even if the doctor was present, COVID-19 would not be identified as the cause of death unless the victim had been tested before, and in most cases it did not. Observers said that the COVID epidemic has now spread rapidly in rural areas where there are no hospital facilities like the big cities. Many people bring their loved ones to clinics without seeing a doctor, no one prescribing medicine and no one providing medical oxygen. In the end, they have to go find everything in despair. It is a poignant fact that the volunteers of non-profit organizations in India have quietly collected the ashes of unclaimed patients in India from the crematoria to practice bringing the bodies in the tradition of Hindus in the midst of an ever-increasing number of COVID-19 deaths. According to Reuters statistics, 1 out of 3 people who die from COVID-19 in the world every day are in India. But for the volunteers at the crematorium in New Delhi, the abandoned dead also deserve a solemn escort. One thing that caught the world's attention is that in the state of Gujarat, eastern India, some Hindus come to the barn once a week to apply cow dung and urine in the hope that it will help. They will strengthen their immunity to prevent or cure COVID-19. At present, Indian doctors are strongly opposed to the use of cow dung by Hindus to treat COVID-19, arguing that there is no concrete evidence of its effectiveness and warn of the method. This also increases the risk of spreading other diseases. But knowing how to live in despair when the epidemic spreads, vaccines are not enough to be vaccinated, hospitals are overcrowded, the people of India have tried to find the fragile hope of living by using cow dung to COVID treatment-19. Be aware that in Hinduism, cows are a sacred symbol of life on earth, and for centuries devotees have used cow dung in house cleaning and in prayer ceremonies. They believe it has therapeutic and antiseptic properties. Newsletter 2. The United States and Japan together with France have, for the first time, a joint exercise to express a joint message aimed at China. On May 11, 2021, France began joint military exercises with the US and Japan in the southern part of Japan, focusing on a number of situations, including the protection of offshore islands and intercepting ships at sea. This week-long exercise was the first time French units conducted exercises with Japanese and American forces. It is known that the exercise took place in Nagasaki Prefecture at the Japan Self-Defense Forces Ainur Base and is also the headquarters of the Amphibious Rapid Deployment Brigade, ARDB. The General News said that the content of military training of the three countries mentioned above will include force deployments from helicopters, amphibious operations and simulated urban battles. The forces will also conduct maneuvers for humanitarian relief operations if a natural disaster strikes. The French Ministry of Defense said an amphibious combat group, led by the Jeanne d'Arc, accompanied by the destroyer Surcouf and the helicopter carrier Tonnerre, would be deployed within 6 months to the Indian region, the Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. Analysts and world watchers say these exercises were conducted to send a message to China, which is said to be increasingly more aggressive. The general view is that one message on freedom of navigation is emphasized through joint exercises between the three countries. The details added that a number of drills will also take place at the Kirishima Training Center in Kyushu, as well as at sea and in the air west of this main Japanese island. The French side announced this was not only a training mission, but also a real campaign in the French defense strategy in the Indo-Pacific. This strategy aims to reaffirm Paris' interests in the region by increasing presence as well as promoting bilateral and regional cooperation activities. Newsletter 3. Myanmar situation 100 days after the Myanmar army took power. 100 days after the Myanmar army took power, a series of protests broke out, and diplomatic efforts to restore stability in the Southeast Asian country continued. On February 1, Myanmar military unexpectedly arrested State Councillor Aung San Suu Kyi, President Win Myint and government officials ruling by the National League for Democracy (NLD) party. At that time, through state television, the Myanmar army, Tatmadaw, declared a state of emergency and declared that power had been given to General Minit Songhalim with a pledge to hold elections within a year. Tatmadaw voiced accusations that there was fraud in the November 2020 general election and said this was the reason for the coup. This allegation has been denied by the Myanmar Election Commission. Before that, the NLD had won the general election and won 83% of the seats given to vote. The military-backed Federal Development and Solidarity Party (USDP) won only 33 of the 476 seats and requested a recount, but this request was denied. As of May 9, more than 700 people have been killed in clashes with security forces and 3,800 others have been arrested, charged with, according to the monitoring group of the Political Prisoners Association (AAPP). Judge. After the coup, activists in Myanmar organized civil disobedience movements, strikes and boycotted military-related businesses. Large-scale protests took place in Myanmar's two major cities, Yangon and Mandalay, from the first week after the political upheaval. The protests quickly turned violent as security forces took strong measures in response. It should be noted that Myanmar is a Buddhist country and is home to more than 100 ethnic minorities, some of which have engaged in civil war against the central government during the past 70 years. In that context, the Tatmadaw acts as a protector of national unity. Newsletter 4. The Middle East fire pan is boiling hot. On May 12, 2021, Israeli television Channel 12 reported that the country's security cabinet had approved an escalation of military attacks in the Gaza Strip. So people say the Middle East fire pan is boiling and very hot. The Israeli cabinet's decision meant the conflict with Hamas would drag on for a few more days. Accordingly, Israel is expected to continue to attack symbols for Hamas control in Gaza, including the movement's financial institution building. At least 53 people were killed in the area, according to the Ministry of Health in Gaza. Meanwhile, health officials said 6 people were killed in Israel. In Europe, after discussions with German Foreign Minister Heiko Maas, Italian Foreign Minister Luigi Di Maio said that the two countries wanted the immediate end of violence between Israel and the Palestinian militants and strongly urged all parties immediately take measures to reduce escalation and maximum restraint. Meanwhile, Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Mikhail Bogdanov and Movement Vice President Hamas Musa Abu Marzouk held telephone conversations discussing the recent escalation between Israel and Palestine. According to the Russian Foreign Ministry, Moscow has stressed the importance of ending violence and attacks on civilians. Speaking at a press conference in Moscow after discussions with the Russian Foreign Minister, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres affirmed that the United Nations is fully committed to revitalize the work of the Middle East Quartet. Guterres stressed that there is a need to find ways to de-escalate the conflict between Israel and Palestine. According to him, the resumption of the peace process is extremely urgent because this is the only way to resolve the situation. He also said that the parties involved in the negotiation need to stick to the two-state solution, which will bring harmony and peace between the two sides in the conflict. It should be noted that on the evening of May 11, the Israeli military and the Hamas movement continued to retaliate with a series of missile attacks, causing Israel and Palestine relations to enter the most intense confrontation since 2019. Meanwhile, the United States, Israel's close ally, has condemned the missile strike that Hamas and the other Palestinian armed forces are carrying out, asserting that the Jewish state has a right to defend itself. State Department spokesman Ned Price urged the two sides to avoid causing unfortunate deaths to civilians after the airstrikes. Commenting on the U.S. response, The Guardian said that perhaps the Joe Biden administration was not ready to seek a solution to the Israeli and Palestinian conflict. Newsletter 5. The Tesla company has just made a turn away from the digital currency Bitcoin. One hot news that attracted big attention was that billionaire Elon Musk, general manager of Tesla company, recently announced that he turned his back on the digital currency Bitcoin when he confirmed that Tesla does not accept payment when buying cars with money this including. Notice posted on Twitter May 12, U.S. time. According to TV channel CNBC, in the first minute immediately following the announcement, the value of Bitcoin dropped 5%. The announcement also affected Tesla as its shares evaporated 4.42% in value. It should be noted that in February 2021, in filing with the United States Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC), Tesla said it had bought some $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoins and could invest in more. This cryptocurrency and similar coins. Back then, Tesla said it began accepting Bitcoin as a payment method for buying its cars. The support of Tesla, according to observers, has contributed to a spike in prices of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Dogecoin, in recent times. Even though Tesla says it will stop accepting Bitcoin car payments, Elon Musk insists that the company will keep the coins, not sell them, and explore other cryptocurrencies. Does not consume much fuel in transactions. During Q1 of 2021, Tesla bought $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin and then sold out some Bitcoins worth $272 million, earning a profit of $101 million. News: Tesla has just announced a turn away from the digital currency Bitcoin when confirming Tesla does not accept payments for buying cars with a cryptocurrency. It also shocked many people. You should know that Bitcoin miners are called miners. To be able to reap Bitcoin, they will have to solve complex computational problems through a miner that consumes a lot of electricity. Researchers at the University of Cambridge, UK, believe that the total energy consumption of Bitcoin mining in 2021 could reach 128 billion kWhm, accounting for 0.6% of the total electricity production of the world. This video here is the end. Thank you for your follow-up attention. If you find that the channel's video is useful, please take a moment to subscribe, like, and support the channel. Thank you very much and see you again in the next channel video.